it's time for another round of Wednesday comics. Comics that I've read. I've read quite a few, but I'm only going to do three. Time constraints and all that. So let's start with the worst. Absolute Superman #2. And it takes a #2. This is easily the worst of the three titles already that they've delivered for this Absolute Universe endeavor. Batman's probably the more fun one. Wonder Woman is probably just, it's the more interesting of the three, but Batman's got better art. So he kind of edges out there. But for the most part, Wonder Woman's a little smarter than Batman, but the art's not, it's pretty bad. Absolute Superman's art's probably better than both of them. But unfortunately, the writing is so god-awful, the concept is terrible, it just doesn't work. And there's been Elseworlds, which kind of puts all this stuff to shame. Because it's just pointless. And I mean, Communist Superman was already done by Mark Miller, and he did a much better job at it. So, Krypton, the Red Land, 6 years ago. Only 6 years. Val Nod, well done. Excellent summation of the Xeno Delta farming patterns. Braz Low, perfect work on your history of the golden volcanoes of Lurvan. Kal-El, Cal, I'm confused about what you turned in here. He's napping during, see, they do remote classes like you should. Your story about the dangers faced by loggers in the glass forests of Eureka is quite descriptive, but it doesn't appear to employ any generative text at all. You did source this directly from the cleric's luminarium, didn't you? I wrote it. Cal, I can't see you, and please speak up. I wrote it, and I'm like depressed and stuff, and I keep my bangs in my eyes, yeah, and I do it when I'm 30 too, because I never grow up. You wrote this yourself? That's Cal. The Luminarium contains all knowledge of the Science League from throughout Kryptonian history and can answer any question we might ever possibly ask. Why would you, Cal? I'd like to talk with you and your parents after class. Brock Zoe, flawless work on the sustainability of sunstone mining. See, this is demonstrating how Kal-El thinks for himself and doesn't just do what is, well, boy, this is actually a point that goes against, see, schools are supposed to teach you what to think, how to think, when to think it. You're supposed to repeat the dogma, you know? Yeah. You think that's the point being made? No. They just accidentally got there. So we jump 6 years into the future. So what would he have been? What is he still in his teens at this point? He's, whatever. Anyway, Earth, Brazil, now. Kal-El. Get on your knees, Smallville. You're being detained by the authority of Lazarus Court. On your damn knees now. I can't speak, what is it, Portuguese? Kal-El, you must flee. See, his costume talks to him. He's got this computer in it and all that. He's kind of like Knight Rider and Kit, you know? Hey! Okay, let me just... But there's a problem. He's drained. He can't break the shackles or whatever. Let her go, scumbag. Suspect is resisting arrest. So they got a whole army of peacemakers. And they're not nice. He's attacking Lane. Did you hear that? He said he's going to hurt her. So missed a panel or two or whatever. Trying to get out, but the suit overreacted and has tied some sort of energy knot around the shackles that they're stuck together in. Anyway, light his ass up. Even though she's there. Yeah. Well, they don't really care about Lois Lane. Anyway, the art, again, yes, of the three is the best of the three titles. But the storytelling is terrible. So the whole thing is, of course, the S on the chest refers to servant class or slave class or something of that nature from Krypton. And then he comes to Earth uh, and sees the same structure here as well. So he's got to, get the workers to unite and revolt against the hegemony or what have you. And Lois, of course, is one of the military figures because she fits right in with this crowd. But she discovers what she really wants to be is a writer. That's right. And at the end, apparently Brainiac is running all of this. Um, so there's that little clue in the story. But Brainiac writes out all the reports on what happened here, and she's just supposed to sign off on it. But she decides to write her own, just like young Cal did in school. You see, there's so much alike. Now, rumor has it he's supposed to be bisexual in this one. So I guess he and Jimmy Olsen will have a fling. But ultimately, it's Lois that'll win his heart. See, they'll probably do something like that. I'm surprised they don't have, unless Lois reveals that she was born a man. She was originally Lewis, but, she transitioned. Something like that. But I don't know, maybe not. It doesn't matter because this is already pretty crappy with their, communist stuff. So, and it's dull as all get out. So at least Batman's kind of fun, it's, despite the stupidity. And Wonder Woman, at least so far, is kind of interesting. Superman just has good art, which, yeah, it's good. But just the whole thing, it doesn't draw you in at all. It's pretty bad. So, yep, not recommending it. Meanwhile, in the world of the real Superman over in Action Comics, where it all began. Well, we have Super Team. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a problem for a while, pretty cluttered. And I know there's a fondness for Connor Kent. I don't think there is much one for Jonathan anymore. It worked much better when he was a little kid, and then they aged him so they could, you know. Oh yeah, Steel's daughter. Yeah, I remember when it was just Supergirl and Crypto the dog. Yeah, it was simpler then. But don't worry, Superman does show up in his own comic book. So there you go. The Supergirl backup story just yeah, it's no good. So basically, this Phantom Zone story is still going on, and here we are. Oh, look, it's Jonathan Kent. Disarm the ship, Grax. After all you've put me through today, no. When it touches the ground, the explosion will end the lives of millions. We're Superman here. I'm sure he can stop it from falling. But I'm not as confident in you and your solar-powered friends. Not with your sun failing. So they're losing their powers because the sun's captured in all this aether crap with the Phantom Zone and all that. Anyway, do let him know I stopped by. Well, they got to come together and figure out what to do. He's gone. So is half my strength, John. We can't. We have to, or people die. Keenan, Connor, Carol, one last push. Put everything into it. Got it, John. Now, who's got us? Whoops. Yeah, their powers are depleted. They're going to splat on the ground. But don't worry, Super Dad's here. Grab hold, everybody. So there you go. They're fine. So, Superman, you're back. Yes. Hey, a lot's happened since you left. I'm well aware, and it's worse than you think. So that's Phantoms Part 9. Yeah, yeah. So anyway, they head over to the good old Fortress of Solitude. I know that defying gravity any longer will tax what power I have left, batteries or no. But the clock is ticking and the Earth is dying. So, with the help of Mr. Terrific and the Flash, I get the family to the fortress and explain the danger here and in the Phantom Zone. The art's okay. For this issue, there's another artist, so it's very jarring and inconsistent and it doesn't work. That's another problem. But he he just cuts the chin off to, it needs a little bit more there. Anyway, and even though Aether destroyed himself, I think I missed an issue. See, Anyway, whatever mechanisms he had in place are still operating. In order to create destruction in the zone, he's pulling energy directly from our sun. Michael, you had something? Well, if I could get a word in edgewise. Well, all right. So Superman's got to risk it all, suit up, and fly into the sun. And it works out. Meanwhile, Superboy and Supergirl got to project the Phantom Zone criminals onto a red sun planet for their safety, because if they stay in the zone when it resets itself, they'll all be wiped out. So, oh boy, they got to do it. It's okay. You understand the plan and everything, but oh boy, they're outfoxed. And the criminals actually appear inside the sun, supercharged and flying towards Superman. So that's the cliffhanger. So it's not a bad plot overall for it, but it's cluttered with all the characters. And the artwork was consistent, and so it drags it down. It's much stronger than Absolute Superman, which is absolute garbage. But yeah, it's Action Comics. You should, step it up a little there. But yeah. Plus, I think I don't. Maybe I did, and I've already forgotten. See, boy, the story really lingers, doesn't it? That Aether killed himself. I don't know, or Ether, whatever. Anyway, yeah, that's Action Comics for you. Meanwhile, there's JSA #2. Yes, they're already rebooted and going on again. And okay, whatever. It's just sort of okay. I don't know. I'm at the point of dipping out and maybe checking out the trade. Um, and nothing has convinced me that the Justice Society belongs in the same world as the Justice League. I know it's the way it was when I grew up, and that's my bias, but yeah, it doesn't really work. It worked better. And most of these characters would fit right nicely in that narrative. But and with all these multiverses and imprints and whatnot, but that one, you can't do that. And you keep rebooting it, rebooting it, rebooting it, rebooting it, So anyway, Opal City, everyone ready? On the mark. Hold your people back, officer. The Justice Society is going in first. Are you sure are a sight for sore eyes, but oh, sorry, Dr. Midnight. Well, where's the rest of the team? Like old Green Lantern and the other big guns. It's a huge team, officer. We can't all be everywhere at once, but I'm sure we can handle whatever this is. Just the two of you? 3 of us, actually. Because the former, what was his name? Sandy, the Sandman's sidekick. So instead of just being the new Sandman or whatever, he gets the name Sand. Plus he has sand powers. Anyway, he still has to wear the mask. What do you have, Sand? Jade, I think you and Midnight are going to need to see this for yourselves. Dun, dun, dun. So all these people are frozen, floating around. I think this is the same artist who worked on the Jay Garrick Flash series, which was pretty good. Probably should have just kept that going. I don't know. Anyway, nothing oh, wait. Okay. They all just seem frozen in time. Catatonic. Dr. Midnight, do you see any sort of energy suspending them? Nothing reading on UV, no radiation. Whatever caused this is not registering on any known wavelength. So it's not weird science. That leaves magic, which could be a kind of weird science, I suppose. Anyway, I knew we should have brought Dr. Fate with us. Is he even out of high school yet? So how's he a doctor? Anyway, Jade. So they're waking up and they're all going to fall on the ground, I guess. So, oh no, yeah, they're falling. So easy. Sand has won. And of course, Jade has kind of Green Lantern powers, so she can get a bunch of them. Did you feel that like a present just passed through? Oh, that was me. They seemed fine. Whatever it was, didn't harm any of them. Then what was the point? Yeah, I don't know. They're just messing around, you know. Was this all just some stunt for attention? Could be. Yes, ours. Dad? The other team found something, Jade. Ted Knight's old observatory. Okay. Well, might have could have called your daughter and told her, you know. Anyway, better get over here, Jade. Like, you know, we should have invited you earlier anyway. But I think the theater was just meant to distract from the real target. But you just said you're the ones who. I don't recall that in the last issue. There again, see, it didn't stick. You know. Yeah, this is one. Just wait for the trade if interested. We have movement inside. I'm on it. Hold on, Jesse. Too slow, our man, but I guess you must be used to that by now. Just be careful, Wildcat. She's wild. So there you go. That's all you get. They end up in the Tower of Fate again. It's all confusing shenanigans. And then the villains are, ha ha, we fooled you and you're in trouble. And, you know, it's probably the best out of these three. You know, with action being a close second. Because at least the artwork is better here than in action. Because it's solid and it's consistent. So there's that. And both of them easily beat Absolute Superman. So there you go. That's some DC comics. Didn't even bother with Marvel this time around. And I don't know when I'll get to the other ones. I mean, Christmas is coming. But the other ones are way better because they're all independent titles. Yeah. You'd think I would learn something about that by now. You'd think. But I don't know, I'm stupid that way. So there you go. 3 comic books that I read and talk to you about for this episode of Mr. Nailsin's Wednesday Comics.